Have you heard the rumors? They say no one ever really comes back from the Paris Catacombs. Not the literal alive, or not part where not talking movie level legends here, but people say they come back different. Like something down there rewires your mind, shifts something in you. Some come out quieter, some obsessed, some never speak about it again. And here's what makes it even stranger. People still go in. A lot of people, tourists, take the official routes, walking past neat rows of skulls under artificial lights, posing for selfies, pretending it's just another underground museum. But then there are other urban explorers, thrill seekers, locals who know the hidden entrances and want more than a curated history tour beyond the guided parts. It's chaos, an underground maze, an estimated 200 miles of tunnels, crypts, chambers, and collapsed passages. Most of them unmapped, some of them completely sealed off. They say once you're past a certain point, the earth closes around you. Your sense of time gets fuzzy. GPS doesn't work. Even compasses go haywire. So we decided to go in, but not the easy way, not the €10 Saticat way. We wanted the real deal. We wanted the pitch black, cold stone, what was sound kind of experience. We went with headlamps, printed maps, old graffiti-coded guides from online forums. And we had one rule: stick together, no matter what. At first, it felt like an adventure. The air was cool, stale, but manageable. We cracked jokes, took video, noticed weird carvings here and there in names, dates, drawings. You know, typical underground graffiti. But 3 hours in, something shifted. We passed a collapsed archway and entered a tunnel narrower than anything before. One of those spots where you feel like even your thoughts echo. That's when we saw a faint glow coming from beneath a pile of rubble in the corner of a side chamber. Curious, we dug carefully, moved a few stones, and there it was. A smartphone, screen cracked, back scraped, no SIM card, but somehow powered on. The lock screen flickered once, then the screen lit up. Incoming call, no contact name, just a number. And the ringtone, it wasn't normal. It wasn't even music. It was this low, humming tone, like the sound you hear in your ears when it's dead quiet. It kept pulsing, almost rhythmic, almost like it was synced to your heartbeat. We stared at it, unsure of what to do. Phones don't survive years underground like this. And it shouldn't be working. There's no signal that deep, no light, no power source. But this one was on, bright, buzzing, dot. Then it rang again. No one moved. Another ring, dot. It was the kind of moment where everything else fades. You don't hear your breath. You don't feel your hands. Just that sound, repeating, like a question no one wants to answer. We didn't touch it. Not yet. We just looked at each other, silently asking, are we actually seeing this? That's when one of us taped forward and said what we were all thinking. This wasn't left here by accident. And that's when it rang for the third time. It was around 11:17 p.m., deep into our 6th hour underground. We'd stopped near an abandoned ossuary chamber, trying to catch our breath. The space was walls lined floor to ceiling with human skulls and femurs, arranged in precise, haunting patterns. Bones framed the arched ceilings, like ancient rib cages, frozen in time. The kind of place that makes you whisper even when you don't mean to. That's when I saw it. A soft, irregular flicker almost, like candlelight coming from under a pile of debris near the far wall. From my headlamp catching something glass, maybe broken equipment, or a reflective stone. But the flickering continued on its own rhythm. Cautiously, I moved closer and knelt down. The debris smelled of damp stone and dust. I brushed aside some loose bricks and chunks of bone dust. Phone, a modern smartphone, half buried and scratched up. The case was dented, covered in grime. But here's what made my chest tighten. The screen was on. It was dim but active. The lock screen glowed with an eerie bluish hue. Even though there was no cable, no charger, no battery pack. The icon showed 23%. Then it vibrated. The screen lit fully. Incoming call. No name, just a number. No country code, just 11 digits. We all gathered around it in silence, crouching like campers around a ghost story we should not be touching. This Utah, on the other hand, already had his camera rolling. He wanted to document everything. This is insane. This shouldn't be possible. Something's powering it. The phone rang again, exactly 30 seconds later. Then again, every half minute. Nearby, casting faint light on empty sockets. No one said anything for a few seconds. Just the quiet drip of water somewhere in the catacomb ceiling. Then Aya whispered, "What if it's someone still down here? Seen another person in hours." But this phone felt recent. Not dusty, not corroded. It shouldn't have been functioning. Especially not down there, where our own phones lost signal hours ago. It rang again. Ticking sound like an old clock. I reached forward. My hand hesitated an inch above the screen. "Don't," Aya warned, but curiosity won. I pressed accept. The call connected, instant libet. There was no voice, just breathing, not labored, not panicked. Just calm, even slightly raspy. Male or maybe female. It was hard to tell. The sound was close, but not muffled, like someone was speaking right into the mic without saying a word. I held my breath and turned the speaker on. Everyone listened. A pause, then a faint tap, dash tap, dash tap. We looked at each other. It didn't sound like static. It sounded like tapping on glass or stone. Rhythmic, intentional. 3 taps, silence, then 2 more. Yuta leaned in. "Is that Morse code?" Aya took a step back. "I don't think this is a call." Again, playing that same loop, breathing and taps. Then, something new. A voice, barely audible. 3 words. "Don't ... go ... back." It was whispered like someone warning us not to return somewhere, or maybe not to retrace our steps. Nothing. Dead. Like it had never turned on in the first place. We sat in silence for a while. No one wanted to say the obvious. We weren't alone. Or at least, someone had been there. Maybe still was. We left the phone where it was, face down on the stone. But the rest of the night, that voice haunted every footstep, and from that point on, we stopped seeing trail markers. Paths we thought we came from, gone. The catacombs had shifted, and the deeper we went, the more it felt like that voice on the phone hadn't been warning us about something we hadn't seen yet. It was warning us about something we'd already passed. Immediately, the moment I hit accept, the screen changed, but not to a face. No video, no feed, just a pitch-black call screen, like staring into an empty void. No loading, no spinning icon, nothing to suggest connection. But the timer was counting. And there was sound. At first, it was subtle, like static, not the sharp kind from a broken mic, but soft, almost like breathing, layered with distant rustling. Then came a whisper. It was faint, could have been in French, hard to tell, muffled syllables, vines, ICI, or something close. Aya whispered. Did they just say, come here? Before we could process that, another voice cut through, clearer, male, deeper, and closer. It sounded strained, like someone gasping between words. We couldn't understand it completely, but one phrase stood out. Help me. The cadence was broken, like the speaker wasn't just tired, but fragmented, not mentally, but like their voice was coming from multiple recordings, stitched together. The note of no heraldry, crackling laughter, erupted from the speaker. It wasn't loud, but it echoed, not just in the room, but inside the mic. As if it wasn't laughter heard from someone, but laughter around someone. Something inhuman in the rhythm, like it was mimicking what laughter should sound like, not what it actually is. Then, click. The sound stopped. The call ended, or so we thought. The ringing started again. Same weird tone, same unnatural pitch, layered with that faint ticking sound. Only this time it wasn't coming from the phone's speaker. It was all around us, like an echo. We looked around, our own phones were off, out of range, flight mode. But this ring was spatial, as if the catacombs themselves were bouncing the sound off every bone-covered wall. I pressed the red button to end the call. Nothing. Tried the power botono response. Even the volume buttons were frozen. The phone remained on. The call icon disappeared, but the microphone indicator was still glowing. The speaker symbol flashed like it was still transmitting audio. It was like the phone had bypassed its own system, locked into whatever it had connected to. Uta tried to restart it. Hard reset. Still no response. Then Aya noticed something that made all of us freeze. The backlight of the phone faintly it started pulsing. A slow fade out, like breathing, not mechanical blinking, not notification flicker breathing. Aya tilted. The screen slightlined. That's when I saw it. A faint reflection in the cracked glass. Not mine, not Aya's, just behind us. Barely a shape, more like a smear. A blur of darkness that shouldn't be in a reflection. I turned around, nothing. But then Aya said quietly, guys, my compass just spun. She held it up. The needle was looping slowly, then faster, then jerking wildly, like it couldn't pick a direction. I checked our GPS tracker. Dead screen. UTA's flashlight flickered once, then steadied. We stared at the phone again. Still breathing. Still glowing dot. And tenth sound returned. No. Call, this time. Just one word from the speaker. Whispered. Almost gentle. Retourne. Return. Return where? The ossuary chamber. The entrance. Or somewhere else entirely. We didn't know. But what we did know. The moment that word was said, temperature dropped. Sharp. Like someone opened a freezer right behind our necks. And all three of us felt it at the same time. Not imagined. Not subtle. It hit like a wave. The phone, still unresponsive, suddenly dimmed. One final vibration. Then black. Nothing more. We placed it down, screen down, and stepped back like it might start burning. None of us said anything for a solid minute until Yuta whispered. We shouldn't have answered that, and honestly, I think he was right. We kept recording. just in case. The air felt thick, but none of us wanted to say we were scared yet. Uta tried to lighten the mood. He laughed and said something like, "Well, if this ends up being real, at least we can write it off as a business trip, urban exploration, tax deduction, right?" We chuckled. Kinda, but Aya didn't laugh. She looked at the phone again, still glowing, still quiet, still breathing like before. And she said, almost a whisper, "What if it's not just recording us? What if it's recording for something else?" We didn't even get to react. That's when we heard it. Footsteps, not ours. They echoed down the stone corridor behind us. Light, crisp, like boots on loose gravel. We spun around and lit up the tunnel with our flashlights. Nothing, just stone, air, silence. And then, from deeper inside the catacombs, came a sound. Not a growl, not a whisper, a lullaby, soft in French, but it was wrong. Off-tempo, like someone was trying to remember it, but kept forgetting parts. The melody kept repeating a few lines, then again, broken, slower each time. It wasn't coming. From one place, it echoed like it was circling us. Ia gripped my sleeve. Her voice was shaking now. "This isn't someone singing to us. This is someone singing with us here." Uta raised his phone to check signal. No bars. The original phone, still glowing, still pulsing, still ringing. Every 30 seconds. Like clockwork. It was like the catacombs had their own rhythm now. Phone, footsteps, song, and then back to silence. Just long enough for your brain to reset, to think maybe it was nothing. Our logical brains tried to explain it. Maybe a prank, maybe a hidden Bluetooth speaker. Maybe someone down there playing with us, but something deeper, older inside all three of us. It knew this wasn't a prank. This wasn't tech. This wasn't normal. We were being watched, and not just watched. We were being waited on. The next day, we did what anyone trying to stay sane would do. We hit pause, got some sunlight, sat down with real maps and research. In daylight, things feel easier to handle, like the rules of reality reset when the sun's up. So, we pulled out old maps, like really old, scanned copies from early 1900s Paris cartographers. We were trying to figure out where exactly we had camped the night before, where the phone had been found. That's when we found it, a marked chamber, barely visible on the sketch, labeled La Chambre des Murmures, which translates to the Chamber of Whispers. Creepy name, right? Turns out there's an old legend tied to it. Back in 1889, a miner got separated from his group during a structural collapse. He was trapped in the lower tunnels for days, maybe weeks. No one really knows for sure. But here's the part that stuck. When another crew eventually found the chamber, they found markings scratched onto the limestone walls. In shaky, frantic letters, he had written, "Je suis infirme," which means, "I am trapped." That was the only message. Nothing else. No body, no tools, no sign of where he went. Just that one message and silence. So we compared coordinates, our entry point, our trail, our GPS logs, and yeah, it matched the spot where we found the phone, the chamber, with the eerie singing, the flickering glow, the frozen screen. It was sitting almost dead center in that same place. La Chambre des Murmures. We all sat there in silence, piecing it together. And then someone said the thing we were all thinking. If that phone was inside the chamber, someone had to bring it down there. Aya asked the obvious next question. Or maybe it's not a phone anymore. I didn't respond. None of us did. Because when something modern shows up in a place that's supposed to be untouched, buried in stories older than your grandparents, that's when you stop thinking in logic. That's when you start wondering what else was down there with us. One thing they don't tell you enough about the Paris Catacombs is how your mind slowly stops working the way it's supposed to. It's not just spooky because of the bones, or the history, or the silence. It's the structure. Endless corridors that all look the same. Repeating stone walls. Identical arches. Barely any markers. After a while, you stop trusting your memory. Is that the wall we passed 10 minutes ago? Did we turn left, or did we come back? Even your own footsteps start to sound wrong. They echo in ways that feel off. Like someone else is walking behind you, half a second behind your rhythm. That's when the catacombs mess with your brain. Some people report missing time, like they thought they were underground for 2 hours, but came out 12 hours later. Others say they went in with friends and turned a single corner and everyone vanished. We experienced that first dash hand. At one point, Yuta walked maybe 15 steps ahead of us to check a junction. He turned left. We followed immediately after, and the space was empty. No Yute, no footsteps, no flashlight beam. We called his name. No answer. We retraced our steps, circled around and somehow ended up near our camp again. But here's the twist. None of us remembered turning around. Time bent in that moment. It was like walking forward dragged us backwards. Aya kept checking her watch. It glitched. Mine said 3:13 a.m. for nearly 30 minutes straight. It wasn't just confusing. It was dizzying, like a pressure behind your eyes, or the early edge of a fever. Then there was the phone, still ringing, still flickering. We didn't know what to do with it. Should we leave it, smash it? But something about it kept us locked in. It wasn't just a device anymore. It felt like a puzzle, a challenge, or maybe a warning. Part of me wished it would just stop, go silent, let us breathe. But part of me, maybe, the darker part, was hypnotized by it, as if the ringing itself was pulling thoughts from deep inside my head. Thoughts I didn't put there. That's the danger of the catacombs. They don't just twist tunnels, they twist you. Around 3 a.m., something shifted. The ringing stopped, just gone. No fade out, no last buzz, just silence. The screen, which had been flickering since we found it, suddenly dimmed, then powered off completely. No sound, no light, no reaction. When we tapped the buttons, we sat there, completely frozen. No one said anything for a full minute. It felt like even the catacombs were holding their breath. Aya was the first to move. She unlocked her phone and checked the logs again. The mysterious number was still there, but now it looked like we had called ourselves. Same number, same time stamped 20 minutes ago. The duration, 0 seconds. That made no sense. We hadn't called anyone. We hadn't touched the keypad after answering the call, but somehow the phone thought it had reached out to us. That was our final straw. We made a group decision. We were not taking the phone with us. It wasn't ours. It didn't belong to anyone anymore. We placed it gently back under the rubble, right where we found it. Yuta grabbed a piece of cloth and covered it like a blanket. I placed a rock on top. Aya whispered something under her breath, a quiet goodbye. And then, like flipping a switch, the pressure lifted. We turned around and saw something we hadn't seen in hours. The exit path, clear, walkable, recognizable. No fog, no loops, no tricks. It was like the catacombs had been holding us hostage until we put the phone down, as if we had to witness something, understand something, be a part of it. And now it was done with us. The way forward was open, and none of us hesitated. Asterisk, asterisk. Okay, I need to know. Have you ever found something strange in a place you should never have been? Did it ring? Did it whisper? Leave a comment or send your own story to the email in the description. Just make sure to like, subscribe, and ring that bell for more real-life mystery deep dives and exploration of haunted corners. Stay curious, stay siphoned, stay spooky.